All right. Welcome back. This is Visionary Collectives, and we are on XCSR Towson Student Radio. And today, hey man, we have a very special guest, via Zoom. This is the first Zoom, I guess you could say, episode that we've had on Visionary Collectives. So this is a very special episode. Give it a round of applause for Chantz Conley. Hey man,
Thank you.
thank you for
Thank you.
being here. So, Chance, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Fresh in between some classes, good day out. Good day out here in Arkansas.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all. I forgot to tell the Collectives family. This he is at the Philander Smith University. This is a HBCU out in Little Rock, Arkansas, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Got you. So tell us a little bit about the school.
Oh man. So Philander Smith, it was founded in 1877. It's a fairly small private Christian school. It's an HBCU right in the heart of downtown Little Rock. Really scenic views from where we're at. We can see downtown from our parking lot, whole skyline. It's really nice. We have a chapel on campus. You know, whole campus is gated. Like
Hmm.
it's just a very intimate experience. I love being at Philander. So you
So,
know,
so, and I know that you are a political science major, correct?
yes, sir.
So,
That's
what
correct.
made you pursue that major at Philander Smith?
Well, I'll be honest, I never really wanted to do anything else besides, dealing with politics because, there's a saying that I grew up hearing, you don't have to do politics for politics to do you.
Hmm.
And that was something that always stuck with me, seeing Obama get elected as a very young kid and being around a bunch of different people who had all sorts of different political beliefs. Like all I wanted to do my whole life was be into politics. So coming to Philander and then the history it has with being involved with the Little Rock Nine, and it's just so rich in civil rights history. I was just like, this would be one of the perfect places to get a degree in political science.
So you felt like it was just for you. It was your calling.
Yeah.
Mm. So speaking about, political science, I know you've had an internship, correct? You've had an internship with the government. So you worked for the Little Rock government, you say, working under Mayor Frank Scott Jr., correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about how you got it, what you did, and just expand.
Well, yeah, that's a really great question. So my time with the mayor and my time with Little Rock was way more than I could ever ask for. But it
Mhm.
didn't come without a lot of determination to do what I set out to do, which was to get that internship. It's a fairly competitive internship, especially for that wing of municipal government, which is being involved more in the executive affairs of everything, so to speak. I actually got the offer. Funny enough, I went to a panel that had to do with voting and voters' rights and things like that. And
Mhm.
this is during I want to say my freshman year. So I went to the panel. There was a Q&A, and I ended up just asking one simple question, and the question went something along the lines of with large political action committees, donating millions and billions of dollars, how could a single voter feel like his vote means anything against these huge, war chests of money that politicians are able to access? And that question really stuck out to the senior advisor to the mayor, Christopher Harvey, who happened to be on the panel in the absence of the mayor. He was unfortunately not able to make it, but um, Mr. Harvey was like, "Wow, that's a really good question. I would love to, expound upon that when the panel is over."
Mhm.
So we ended up speaking after the panel. I asked him if he would like to go get a coffee one day. We said it for about 2 weeks after. We had a coffee, followed up, you know, maintained that line of connection between each other for until around the summertime. And
Got
then
you.
the summer is when they proposed me the internship. And I was like, I gladly accepted.
Okay. And I heard you say municipal government. Can you explain what that is to the community?
Yeah, gladly. So oftentimes we get all kind of caught up on the Kamala and the Trump and the big things, but we don't really take time to consider who's responsible for making sure our trash gets picked up, who's responsible for putting out fires, who's responsible for our local streets and the maintenance of our local towns, and who puts the bad guys in jail. And these things are municipal government, the local affairs, like school district things. A lot of those things intertwine with each other. The more so ground impact focused things that we see every day. That would be the best way to describe municipal government.
Got you. Okay. And I want to, go back a little bit back to what you were talking about with the senior advisor, Christopher L. Harvey. So he is now your mentor or previous mentor?
Yeah.
Okay. And so how was it like so I actually don't have a mentor myself. So how does it feel like having someone that's there to, help you along your journey?
It's a great question. So having a mentor, it's a blessing. I'll just be honest. It's a blessing. And that's to me a good added benefit of being at an HBCU.
Mhm.
HBCU alumni and students will look out for each other, and with Mr. Harvey, I call him Chris. He'd probably be mad that I said that on the podcast, but I call him Chris. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, but with that, it's really helpful, and then it's also just another added benefit of seeing another black man doing the things that you aspire to do, or at least hoping to get to that level. And Christopher is a wonderful mentor. He's been nothing but good to me. And, it's just been constantly being educated and just being a sponge, even when it means I have to take criticism for some of the things that I may need to work on. It comes from a place of love and a place of, wanting me to succeed and do better. So I'd say having a mentor, especially in undergrad, is extremely important. If I could advise everybody, find a mentor in your field. You know, if you do nothing else, if you maintain good grades and everything, make sure to find a good mentor or a mentor closely related to your field or someone that can just point you in the right direction. You know, with seeking mentorship, people often think, oh, it's just like a coincidental, thing where they just kind of fall into your hands. Like, in my time seeking out a mentor, it was very calculated. I made sure to, go get coffees with different people in leadership positions and, you know, different roles. And ultimately, Chris was just the best fit for me. He had the experience that I was looking to, learn from and the positions I was looking to achieve one day. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's great. It's great.
Got you, got you. Hey man, I need to tap in with, getting a mentorship for sure. And then you talk a lot about, sponge. So what type of material were you, I guess, soaking up from uh Christopher?
So one of the main things that I've soaked up is, you know, writing. I'd say that being a good writer in, the political realm will take you places where talking alone cannot. You know, this summer, as fun as it was, it felt like I was taking like an advanced writing class every single day I step into the office, writing, drafting memos, writing schedules, writing names down, writing complaints down, all these sorts of things. Another thing was treating people, having empathy and treating people with respect. With politics, there's so many different viewpoints, and people feel so passionately about so many different things.
Right.
And being a good leader in your community means being able to hear all these different sides and being able to come to the best solution, not just the solution that would make the blue guys happy or the red guys happy, but what can we do at the local level to make everyone happy? That's the goal that I try to chase. So being able to hear a viewpoint that you just completely disagree with, and you're like, okay, instead of being like, oh, that's wrong and that's this and that's that, learning to have empathy and understand people's background. And then the last thing I would say, as funny as it sounds, manners. You
Manners.
know, it's always good to exercise having good manners. No matter who you're talking to, from the janitor of the White House to the president, I feel like you should treat everyone with the same amount of respect because you never know, what somebody could be going through, what opportunities they could present to you.
Right.
So I've learned that it's extremely important to, treat everybody with respect and not trying to respect people according to their position, but rather respecting them according to them being a human being.
Okay. So with respect, can you tie that into maybe like leadership skills? Because I know that one, you had um a position last year, right, as Mr. Freshman at, Philander Smith in 2023.
Mhm.
How did that kind of shape, your leadership roles, still taking that respectability and like having a self of having oneself to be, I guess uplifted in a sense.
Mhm.
How did this kind of like shape how you are now?
Mhm. Well, that's a really good question, actually. So, I came to Philander, I was about 17, getting ready to turn 18. And this was around the time that I was running for Mr. Freshman. And I ran, great campaign, a lot of great people helping me run. And I ended up winning.
Hmm.
And an unintended consequence of me winning was, the pride that I gained. I'm like, oh man, I'm Mr. Freshman. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, and then the group chats, like you got the group chats, you can add to all these group chats with all the different Mr. Freshmen from around the country. You're just like, man, I'm just the hot stuff, bro. Like, I was just on cloud nine. And I had to realize, and just in the same instant this was given to me, it could be taken away. And did I get this role to flex on the school, or did I get this role to, help lead the school? And that was something I had to kind of confront in the first week of me having the title.
Hmm.
And it teaches you, okay, I've quote unquote gained everything I wanted to gain out of this, and I've won the race. And I respected people throughout my campaign and made sure to say, oh, thank you, ma'am. And oh, thank you, sir, the whole time. And now that I've got what I wanted from doing that, will I have the maturity to still keep that same respect? Because it's a different game plan and it's a different whole entire conversation. Like, okay, the respect has earned me this. Now, what do I do once I earn it? Do I revert back to being disrespectful? And, do I revert back to being, someone of low character, or do I take this and I rise to the occasion? And that was one of the things I had to learn, through coming to college is my role does not determine my worth for good or for worse. So respecting people was something that, and this doesn't mean like, oh, tell people to shut up or anything, but just simply, the excuse me's, the if someone waves at you, wave back, or if someone smiles at you, you smile back, and yes, ma'ams, no, ma'ams, can I have that, please? May I please borrow? These are things that, living in places like DC and Atlanta, like, respect is kind of almost a recommended thing, but
Hmm.
everything is so fast paced. No one has time for like the, quote unquote, Southern charm that we call just basic manners here.
Fair enough.
So yeah, yeah.
And so at your time, as Mr. Freshman, what kind of problems were you seeing that would come up or arise?
Sure, sure. So mainly, for all Philander has done good, we have had a couple of different issues. During this time, we were having a couple of incidents of, housing not being up to par and, cafeteria options becoming slim to the point where we're eating the same couple of things. And, campus life being kind of lower than it was. kind
Mm,
of everybody breaking off into their own tribes in the school, not feeling connected.
right.
So it was kind of a unique thing. And then at the time when I was elected Mr. Freshman, we were transitioning from Philander Smith College to gaining university status. So we also were transitioning to a new president. So the school was just in like this whole kind of changing, growing pains kind of thing. And I said, okay, how can we help alleviate these things? Such as, okay, we know that we're having a dorm crisis. Some of the dorms are not up to code. Some people are sleeping in dorms that may have mold in them and things like that. How
Mm,
can we confront these things? And then campus life, how can we have people excited to come out of their rooms more often? How can we have that old Philander Smith vibe back? That was like the main thing. How can we bring back the old Pete,
mm.
so to speak?
OP. Hey, I like that. So talking about P, I got another P for you. So problem solving, right? So
Yeah.
how has your problem solving skills? Hey, push it P, man. Hey,
Pushing.
so how has your problem solving skills, advanced since you had that position?
That's a great. I mean, you just on a roll today, man. So, I'd say my problem solving skills. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'd say me and Mr. Freshman has taught me that you cannot do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
That was like the big thing. Like before then, I came in with a full head of steam. I'm like, I'm gonna tackle it all by myself. I'm gonna do it all big. And nah,
Nah.
that a lot of that humbled me very quickly. I will admit. So learning to be strategic and this ties back into manners, being respectful to everybody. Being a good leader means that you're willing to follow if someone's leading in the right way.
Hmm.
You know, so being able to say, "Hey, I agree with this. Actually, I wouldn't mind if let's just say another guy like, hey, I wouldn't mind if this other guy takes the lead for this because he's more educated on the topic.
Hmm.
Learning to sit back and listen more than I speak. That was a big part of me learning to kind of grow as a leader.
Hmm.
Um, Being able to, have humility. And even if I don't know the answer, be okay with not knowing the answer and seeking the answer rather than a lot of people I feel like have a habit of no one wants to seem vulnerable. You know, Sometimes not knowing the answers to questions makes you feel like you're vulnerable. It makes you feel like your leadership is questionable.
Right.
Being transparent about that, my sister always told me, keep it real, get a better deal, you know. So there'll be times where
Real quick. Wait, say that again?
keep it real, get a better deal, bro.
Fair enough.
Like where people would be like, hey, Chance, do you know the answer to this? And I'd be like, no, I don't. But hey, I know someone who does know the answer to it.
Um,
So either way, the problem still gets solved, even though I don't have to take the lion's share of the credit. As long as the problem is solved and as long as, a goal is completed, it doesn't matter how we get to that goal. It doesn't matter who gets the most credit. It matters more so, did we complete the job? And that was something that I learned at Philander, with campus cleanups. If we had mold in dorms, I could go in there and help clean it up and stuff like that. Or, we could make a task force for people who are more experienced, like the janitors and things like that.
mhm.
Do I have to take the lion's share and say, hey, I got in there and scrubbed all that? No, I don't. Because at the end of the day, it was done. So learning how to be a team player, you know, was very effective for my problem solving. Learning how to be quiet and listen more than I speak, that was something that was, monumental. Treating people with respect again and trying to educate yourself on problems rather than speaking from a position that you already know everything. No one likes to know it all, you know. So I'll tell you, since I've been a Philander, I've been spending a lot of time in the library, trying to get educated on all sorts of different things. So yeah.
Mm. And like, so let's say that it was a younger you or someone that is aspiring to be where you are, the position you are. What could you tell them?
Mm. Well, that's another good man. Hmm. That's a great question, actually. So if there were someone that kind of wanted to, be in a position that I'm in today, the main thing I would say is focus on you. You know, out of all the people in this world, not two people have identical fingerprints. You know what I mean? We're all unique and we all have our talents that make us uniquely ourselves. And I would say spend time focusing on what makes you who you are. You know
Mm,
what I mean? What makes you who you are? If you like politics, that's great. Why do you like them? Do you like them for a surface level reason, or do you like them because it fulfills you? Because a lot of people want to go to the NBA, but do you want to go to the NBA because you want to be rich and you want to have the NBA lifestyle, or do you want to go because you love basketball?
mm,
Because that separates the good from the great. You know, doing things for the image of them versus doing things for the love of them. I would say find things that you're passionate at and work tirelessly, you know, to try to perfect that.
right. So,
So, yeah.
so what is Chance Conley's why then? You said, you're saying, find your why. So what is your why? Why do you do it?
That's good. So, as trivial as it sounds, I I want to do my part and helping make the world a better place. I always smirk a little bit when I say it because I'm like, it's just so generic. But it's like, what as human beings, we're here to experience life and to enjoy our time here. And I feel like sometimes people have to bear the brunt of, okay, how can we make sure everyone enjoys things? Everyone enjoys things equally. Everybody has equal opportunities to, resources. How can we make sure that life is good for everybody? Some people have to be the people that, kind of orchestrate that. Whether it be, like a person like LeBron, like entertaining people, whether it be a singer, Michael Jackson, whether it be a president, whether it be the garbage man, making sure your garbage is picked up. We all play a role in this world somehow. Even you with this podcast, like educating people, having people share their experiences, like these are things that all contribute. It's just that my niche in trying to make the world a better place is how can we implement policy to do that? That
Mm,
that's just my why. I like the nitty gritty and I like the quote unquote fine print on how to make things better for everybody.
hmm. Okay, okay. I like that. And I like that you included visionary collectors. But so you said everybody has their own niche and you actually explained different niches. So you said like, for like NBA or like let's say you had politicians, so on and so on, right? But how are you so do you think there's a comparison? Like do we have to compare ourselves to each other, like being in different spaces?
I think although I think healthy competition is good for everybody to kind of drive the needle forward. I don't think that you know I don't really see a need for the whole comparisons for necessarily everything because I believe that like I said, everybody is unique. There are so many different things in this world that make so many different people happy. And as long as you are satisfied within yourself to do what makes you happy, then that's all to me, that's all that really matters. Like with politics, I know that unless I'm some sort of rich senator or whatever, I'm probably not going to make the most money. But I know that I don't have to make a lot of money as long as I'm satisfied doing my work, you know.
Mhm. So how do you build a team like that? How do you build a team of like diverse individuals? Because I mean, a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Well, it's definitely a unique challenge at HBCU to do that, because when you wake up, you got a black roommate waking you up, and then, you walk outside, and then the people taking your trash out your dorm are black, and then you wave at your friends in the car, and then four black people in the car wave back. Then you go to campus, then the black security guard opens the gate. So it's just like, whoa, like where, how do I how do I make the quote unquote diversity out of this? But I feel like diversity has so many meanings, and I do have, a multiracial friend group. I have friends from different colleges and things like that. And but the diversity here at HBCU is that yeah, we could all be mostly black and whatever, but what differentiates us personality wise? What differentiates us with our leadership characteristics? What differentiates us? Like, what type of music do you like?
Mm,
These things, although they seem kind of small in nature, they definitely play a part because the last thing that I would like to be surrounded with is yes men. You know, like I'm grateful to say the friend group that I have, we hold each other accountable, and we try our best to when praise is due. I'm glad to say I don't have any haters in my circle, you know, but I have friends that keep it real and maintaining that diversity is meaning what I like to play a game. What is one thing that me and a friend just disagrees on?
mm,
If you don't have healthy disagreements in your circle and things like that, I feel like, in my opinion, something may be a little off in that. You don't want to have an echo chamber of people just agreeing with the same things all the time. It doesn't produce any, fruit, any intellectual, you know, pushes forward or anything like that. It keeps you stagnant when everybody's just like, yes, bro, we all agree. You are all right all the time. That's dangerous for leaders, in my opinion.
okay, okay. And so I know that you actually lived in various cities in the United States, right?
Mhm.
Let's just name a few. So you lived in Dallas, you lived in Maryland, right? And you now live in
Mhm.
Arkansas, right?
Mhm.
So my next question is, so how has like living in diverse, regions of the US, right?
Mhm.
You to like make it a kind of approach for both local and national politics, and kind of making like an equilibrium.
Mhm. So I'd say, due to, you know, my somewhat unique way of growing up, living in different cities and things like that,
Mhm.
um, sometimes the problems that you see in a smaller town, such as Little Rock, could be the same things that you see in a place like Dallas or in a place like Atlanta, or in a place like, Southern Maryland.
Okay.
So oftentimes I try to balance the way I think about politics, practically through the fact that although every city has their, municipal level and things like that, we all tie into national government, you know. So it's a little bit of a unique perspective because I'm able to say, okay, these are commonalities that we see in the municipal government across different cities and across different states. What national laws could affect these local issues
Mm,
rather than passing multiple different local laws in, different cities? How can we, as a national government, be able to sustainably affect all municipalities from national government perspective? That's the idea that I usually think of when I think of national government. What can we do to serve everybody? Big cities and small cities in between.
got you. Now hey, that was a great speech though. I love that part. I love that part about, local and it kind of tying them both in a sense. And so for your passion, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you say your passion, what you wanted to actually do in the government. I'm gonna let you say it. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Okay, appreciate it, bro. So my plans after college, I plan to either go straight into getting my Juris Doctors, which is my law degree,
Mm,
and then going to go ahead and take my bar, to get legally certified, be a lawyer, or I'll get my master's in public policy, hopefully at a school somewhere up there, in the DC, Boston, the Eastern Seaboard area.
right.
So after I do that, probably go into legislative staffing. That's always been a dream of mine to work on the Hill and, work with everyday constituents. And I know it doesn't pay much, but it's just something that would be fulfilling to me, like a bucket list kind of thing. And
Mm,
I would just love to do that. And then after that, you know, maybe work with nonprofits, work with, larger entities, maybe lobbying firms for, the interests of the people rather than the companies.
mm,
And maybe one day run for office. I would definitely not mind running for, anything from mayor or, senior advisor to, well, being appointed to senior advisor, but, running for things like mayor or city director to anything like, national senate or, House of Representatives, like, whatever way I can affect change and, you know, be the greatest person I can be for the world, that's just how I'll do it. So, you
mm.
know, I don't quite know yet where the future will take me, but I'm definitely excited to see where.
Okay. And then banking off of that question, I guess he's like, where can you see yourself in like the next 5 years, honestly?
I'll probably see myself in DC. I'll just be honest. Like, I'll probably see myself working in DC. Now doing what I don't quite know yet, or either that or like maybe in law school. You
Okay.
know,
Mm, okay.
so we'll definitely see. That's where I see myself though, beginning to kind of build the beginning stages of my career. I'll
Mm.
say that.
And then looking back, on your journey so far, like what would you tell your younger self? Just not even everybody else, just you. Like what advice
Yeah,
would you give Chance?
I would say just keep being yourself, bro. Like being yourself is the most, the greatest thing you can be because there's only one chance.
Mm.
So I would definitely say that, you're fearfully and wonderfully made and to just keep it real with yourself, bro. Like you don't gotta impress nobody. You ain't gotta, you know.
All right. Hey, I like that answer, bro. I like that answer. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up here. We are on XCSR Towson Student Radio, and this is Visionary Collectives. And today we had a great special guest star, Chance, all the way far away from Philander Smith. Would you say it's university now?
Yes, sir. University.
Philander Smith University. You hear it here, man. It's Philander Smith University, the HBCU. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you everybody for coming out
Yeah,
here
thank
and
you. Thank you for having me, bro. Thank
listening
you.
into his story, man. So we'll see you in the next one. All right,
Yes,
man.
sir. All right, man. Peace.